Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to reading class. And if you could please turn to page 406 in your reading book, we're going to get started on your reading lesson. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was our focus skill, which is making predictions. And like I asked, if you could please turn to page 406 to 407 in your book. And if you read the title, you'll see that it says Jeremy's House. And so when you read the title, you want to think about what this might be about. And so using the clues, you can make a prediction that it's going to be about Jeremy's house. And then the next thing I want you to do is look at the illustrations. And what do you see? So if you're looking at the illustrations, you should see Jeremy's house right here. And then you also see he's pointing, and he's pointing up, and you can see there's an airplane, there are stars, we've got the moon, and that's his ceiling. But it's really not the ceiling if you're looking up. Ceilings are the top of a house, and if you look at his, you can see that there's something special going on. Now, before we read Jeremy's house, I just want you to look at the way it's organized. So you can see that it's not in paragraph form, and so we see that it's a poem. And poems are often fun to read because they're a way of language being used in them, and because they often contain interesting images or mental pictures. You can really visualize and imagine what's happening in the story. So also, we want to talk about the features of a poem. Poems have rhyme, which is where the accents fall on each line. So if you look at the ending words here, you see you have house, stars, bed, overhead, and Mars. So you can see that there are some final sounds at the end that rhyme, such as Mars, stars, bed, and head. So it has a rhyme pattern. And then there are a lot of images. They're using really interesting vocabulary words which give you mental pictures of what something is like or how someone is feeling. So we're going to read Jeremy's house. Jeremy hasn't a roof on his house, for he likes to look at the stars. When he lies in his bed with them all overhead, he imagines he can see Mars. Then we're going to go to the second stanza, and we see sometimes a thunderstorm lights up the sky, and Jeremy gets soaking wet, but he says that it's worth it to lie in his bed and see folks go past in a jet. He's counting the stars in the Milky Way. It's going to take him forever, but Jeremy's patiently counting away, for he knows it's a worthwhile endeavor. So we want to go back and find some other rhyming words here. So we have sky, wet, it, bed, jet. So we can see that wet and jet rhyme. And then we go to way, forever, patiently, away, endeavor. And so we see here away and way. And then forever, endeavor. Okay, so you can see the rhyme pattern, and you can see that there's a lot of imagery. And so why does Jeremy live in a house without a roof? So you want to think about Jeremy hasn't a roof over his head, for he likes to look at the stars when he lies in his bed with all of them overhead. He imagines he can see Mars. So a possible reason would be because he likes to look at the stars. And then this is making a judgment. So you want to take all that you just read and you want to think to yourself, do you think counting the stars the way Jeremy does is worth doing? Why or why not? I'm asking you what you think. And so maybe it's not, because every night Earth is in a different position, because we know the Earth rotates and revolves around the sun, and so we're not going to see the exact same stars every night. And so the Earth is moving in different positions, so the stars that Jeremy counts one night are not the same ones that he counts the next night. So he'll never be able to count all the stars. So probably using your judgment and what you know about science and the solar system, you know that that's not going to be a worthwhile endeavor. And then what genre is this? So you want to think to yourself, how is the selection different from expository nonfiction, which is what The Planets was, where it explained nonfiction to you. And so we see here that the poem is using a rhyming pattern. So you can see house, and then you see stars, bed, overhead, and Mars. So we have stars and Mars. So we can see that it's not a nonfiction piece. It's not explaining anything. It's using fantasy instead of reality. And the purpose of expository nonfiction is to present you with facts and to explain it. So this is very different than The Planets. All right, so we're going to move on to our comparing our texts. So would you read The Planets in Jeremy's house to learn information or for enjoyment? So like we said, The Planets would be expository nonfiction. You would read that for information. And Jeremy's house, you would read for enjoyment. Which planet would you like to learn more about? A lot of you did a fantastic report on a planet. And so you know a lot about a certain planet, but maybe your friend did another planet and you would like to research a different planet. So maybe take the time this week and look up more information about a planet of your choice. And then what is important to know about the planets and the sun? Well, that's very important. It helps us to understand that Earth is part of a much larger system of planets. So it's really important to know that where the planets are in relationship to the sun, and just to understand the differences of each planet, how you have the inner planets and the outer planets, you have the rock planets, and then you have icy planets. So there's a lot of, you have the gas giants. There's so many different ways to categorize the different planets. All right, so we're going to look at our vocabulary review. It said word pairs. Work with a partner. You'll be working with your family. Write each vocabulary word on a card. Place the cards face down. Take turns flipping over 2 cards and writing a sentence that uses both the words. Read your sentences to your family member and decide whether the vocabulary word was used correctly. So right here they gave you one. The sun reflects off the surface of the lake. Oh, nice job. Reflects and surface. And those are used correctly. All right, so we are going to have a little fun today, and we are going to write a limerick. Because we've been looking at poetry for the month of April, we thought that looking at a limerick would be a lot of fun. So let's go to learning about limericks. And the limerick is a lot of fun. So this little gentleman is going to tell us all about limericks. If I can get him to get started here. There we go.
Hello, how are you? I'm Nick, here to teach you a fun little trick. To have a good time when writing a rhyme, try writing your own limerick. There are limericks of all different kinds, so how do you write one that shines? You'll see that it's cool if you follow the rule. A limerick is made of 5 lines, so listen close to this song. Lines 1, 2, and 5 are all long, and in poems of this sort make lines 3 and 4 short, and I promise you'll never go wrong. You need to be sure and contrive to rhyme lines 1, 2, and 5. Then do it once more with lines 3 and 4, and your limerick surely will thrive. So let these pointers take hold, and if you'll write as you were told, at the rainbow's end you'll find there, my friend, your own limerick pot of gold.
So that takes us to what are limericks? So we're going to look right here, and we're going to look at the different things that you need to form a limerick poem. So limericks are a type of, you guessed it, poem. They have, think of how many lines. They have 5 lines, you're correct. So lines 1, 2, and 5 are all, think to yourself, were those long or short? You're correct, those were long, and they all, think of the end words of a poem. They all rhyme. And then on lines 3 and 4, think to yourself, were those long or short lines? They were the short lines, and they also must rhyme. So here are some examples of limericks. So you want to look at 1, 2, and 5. You'll notice star, far, and far. They all rhyme, and they're longer. Then you have the 2 shorter lines, which are 3 and 4, and this down and clown rhyme. So there's a sing-song beat to limericks, which is why you do the 3 longer and then the 2 shorter. So the first one is called Star. There once was a wonderful star who thought she would go very far. Until she found down and looked like a clown, she knew she would never go far. So you can hear the sing-song beat, which is why they have them long and then the short in the middle. So let's look at Jumping Monkey. So you'll notice 1, 2, and 5 rhyme. Monkey, bee, and bee. So the key in the B, it's the second part of the word of monkey, the second syllable that rhymes with B and B. As long as the ending part rhymes, you're okay. Then we have clip and stiff. So let's read this and hear the sing-song beat, because limericks are fun little rhyming poems. There once was a jumping monkey, and jumping he would always be. He fell off a cliff because he was stiff, now jumping he never will be. So it's a fun little monkey poem. It has 1, 2, and 5 rhyme, 3 and 4 rhyme. All right, so we're going to create our own limerick. So we get to choose a theme here. So let's see, there's going to be a little, so we're going to click the spinner to reveal our theme. So there should be a spinner coming here. All right, so we're going to click our spinner. Oh, we landed on the rat. All right. So let's put these down. All right, so we have a rat. That's our theme, so we'll move it up. So our first choices are silly, crazy, slimy, and funny. And our second is old, tall, thin, and small. So let's do, there was a silly, small rat and his friend. So friend is the end word. So now we have to rhyme with friend. Okay, friend. His friend said, I'll bet you can't make this blank blank. Now we know 1 and 2 have to rhyme. So friend, break, friend, dance, friend, bend, friend, move. So friend, bend. And then let's read it again and see what we want to stick in for number 1. His friend said, I bet you can't make this blank bend. Now remember, this is a rat. So let's do bar. I'll bet you can't make this bar bend. He tried and he tried. Now remember, 3 and 4 rhyme, so we have to rhyme with tried. He tried and he tried until his friend replied. He tried and he tried until his friend said. He tried and he tried until his friend answered. He tried and tried until his friend danced. Tried and replied. And now we have to rhyme with bend, friend, because our last one is 5. Bend, friend. So street, bend, friend, house, friend, water, friend, end. So you are correct, end. That thing just won't break in the end. So let's go back and read our poem. There once was a silly small rat and his friend. His friend said, I'll bet you can't make this bar bend. He tried and he tried until his friend replied, that just thing won't break in the end. And that is the end of our limerick. Let's go back. So you are going to create your own limerick. Hopefully, you remembered some fun things about limericks. Remember, a limerick is a type of poem. It has 5 lines. 1, 2, and 5 are the long ones, and they rhyme. 3 and 4 are the shorter lines, and they rhyme. So looking at these examples again, there once was a wonderful star who thought she would go very far. Until she found down and felt and looked like a clown, she knew she would never go far. So you have 1, 2, and 5 rhyme, and then 3 and 4 rhyme. So hopefully you can have some fun today and write yourself a limerick. And I look forward to, you can post it on the stream, take a picture of it and post it on the stream if you want to share with your friends, or you can mail it to your grandparents just for some wonderful piece of mail that they could get and that would bring a smile to their face. But I hope you enjoyed today's lesson on limericks and making connections to the planets and Jeremy's house. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Take care.